High-limit sprint car teams are allowed one shock adjuster in their cars. So what is a shock adjuster and which shocks are teams adjusting? We'll talk about that plus big cash on the line at Eagle and just one confirmed Outlaw driver so far, Summer Nationals and App Speedweek late models and more. Let's go. It's Tuesday, June 10th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. American Table and the P.O. Box is back as show sponsor this week and proudly supports the racing community. The restaurant is excited to welcome all fans, crews, and drivers to town. While you're around Knoxville for the World of Outlaws sprint car races this week, swing by their historic location in Oskaloosa for everything ranging from steaks and burgers to delicious apps and drink specials. Inside the beautifully restored post office that was built in 1902, both the historic upstairs restaurant, American Table, and the bar and grill downstairs, the P.O. Box, will be open. Whether you're refueling after the races or grabbing a bite before heading to the track, they've got a spot for you. Find them at 206 North Market Street in Oskaloosa, Iowa, and visit them online at americantablerestaurant.com. We'll start this Tuesday show off with a little bit of sprint car tech talk. I had a question on the Sunday Daily Show about shock adjusters when it comes to the high-limit sprint car series. New for 2025, the Kubota High Limit Sprint Car Series made a change to their rules that allows 4 sprint car teams competing with them to use one in-car shock adjuster. And this is one of the things we talked about that kind of took them down a little bit of a different rules path than the World of Outlaws because the Outlaws do not allow this. There are obviously 4 shocks on a sprint car, so that means teams must decide which shock they want to make adjustable through the course of a night. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, let's dive in here just a bit. Shock adjusters are way more common in non-wing sprint cars and midget racing, but have traditionally not been allowed on the wing side. Like I just said, the Outlaws don't allow it. With USAC or at the Chili Bowl, you'll see drivers usually with 4 adjustment knobs in the cockpit. This is a photo from several years ago I took at the Chili Bowl of Shane Stewart waiting on the ramp. On both sides of the steering wheel, kind of highlighted by the red arrows, you can see knobs mounted, and those are the adjusters themselves. There's one for each shock. You can turn them, and then that changes things. USAC rules actually allow for 5 knobs if a car runs a 5th shock on one corner. But those knobs, they're attached to a cable. It runs down to the shock. Those cables are kind of routed around the frame and zip tied up. And when you turn the knob, like I said, the shock changes. In this image here that I kind of swiped off the CSI YouTube channel, thanks Garrett, you can see the other end of the cable where it attaches to the shock itself. So you plug it in right there, you turn the knob, that piece actually turns itself, and then that's how the shock changes. The high limit rule reads, quote, one in-car shock adjustment will be allowed. The adjustment is for compression or rebound settings or both settings together with a single movement. A single adjuster that adjusts both separately is not allowed. And then it says in parentheses, no push-pull adjusters, unquote. In a recent video on that CSI Shocks YouTube channel, go find it if you're curious. Garrett does a nice job over there. But he actually showed how shocks adjust when those knobs are turned, what the parts inside are kind of actually doing, and then how the fluid inside the shock is allowed to move differently to then soften or stiffen based on those turns. And why these adjustment knobs are useful is drivers can now change how their car drives as track conditions evolve through the course of a race. In a wing sprint car, drivers can adjust the wing position itself with a slider ram. You'll see guys, a lot of times it'll be off their left-hand side. There'll be like a little a lever there that they can push and pull back and forth that will actually change the wing. But high limit now going this direction, which allows another kind of one more in-car tool that guys can use to change. So then back to the original question. A commenter wanted to know which corner of the car was being used most often by high-limit teams. And I hit up a few crew chiefs since Sunday. It sounds like the right rear has been the most common. With one knob only, teams obviously have to make a choice, but that choice could technically change through the course of a night. You could actually have those cables kind of run to all 4 corners and then just change which one is hooked up to the knob. And then that preference could be different also based on conditions or track type. But even with all of that said, right rear seems to be the main consensus. I can't actually find a photo of a sprint car this year in my library where you can actually see the knob in the cockpit. But if I run across one, or maybe one of my photographer friends is watching and has one, I will certainly pass it along. And those in-car shock adjusters are going to probably be used plenty tonight with the high-limit sprint cars set for a midweek big dollar payday at Eagle Raceway in Nebraska. $55,555 to win, and two tight championship battles still playing out. Only 16 points separate the top 5 for the season-long title, and only 38 points separate the top 5 for the midweek battle. Brad Sweet leads Rico Abreu, Brent Marks, Tyler Courtney, and Aaron Reitzel overall, and then Rico tops Tanner Thorson, Sweet, Marks, and Reitzel in the midweek standings. This is the third straight season Eagle is on the high-limit schedule. It's kind of become a driver and fan favorite. Kyle Larson actually has won both previous trips there. 40 cars in attendance the first year, 43 last season. I still don't have a great sense for what Outlaw guys could potentially use a freebie to race tonight. The only one I've seen confirmed is Carson Macedo. If others are coming, they are keeping it quiet, at least publicly. Rico Abreu leads all drivers this season with 5 high-limit Sprint Car Series wins, but Aaron Reitzel has been the most consistent here lately. He leads an average finish over both the past 5 and 10 race spans. As I mentioned yesterday, after tonight, you're going to see a lot of these teams hit up Knoxville this weekend to race with the World of Outlaws. If you want late model action today, you do have 2 main options. The first is the opening of Summer Nationals with a 5,000 win show at Brownstown. The Hell Tour has 31 races in 34 days coming up across 9 states. Just very typical Hell Tour. Champions of each week earn $10,000 on top of their race purse money, and then the final overall champion will get another 10 grand. Some drivers you'll see this week include Brandon Shepard and his family-owned B5, Tyler Erb is going to race, Kyle Bronson, Dennis Erb Jr., Brian Shirley, and a lot more. With the way the format works now, you're going to see guys popping in and out through the next 34 days, especially with the week-long championships. Don't be shocked to see someone maybe get one of those $10,000 checks, then, take some days off and then come back. The rest of the week 1 schedule includes Kankakee, Peoria, Tri-City, Fairbury, and Sycamore. Along the way, UMP Modifieds will join late models for the Modified Nationals portion of everything. Tyler Erb was the overall late model champion last season, while Mike McKinney is the defending Modified champion. Across the country at Path Valley, Appalachian Mountain Speedweek continues with $5,000 to win. Greg Satterley took the first Speedweek win back on Saturday at Port Royal. He topped Jared Miley and Trevor Feathers. Clinton County on Friday and Hagerstown on Sunday were both rained out. Still to come for Speedweek after tonight are stops at Selinsgrove, Bedford, Lincoln, and Bridgeport. That happens through Sunday. If you want some additional App Speedweek coverage, check out Kyle McFadden's work at Dirt on Dirt and online on social media. He's got pieces talking about Jason Covert's Saturday crash and Kyle Hardy's engine woes. There is quite a bit of other racing happening today around the country, so make sure to hit up DIRTRACKR.com/watch tonight to see your daily streaming options. There you're going to find who's racing, where, on which streaming service, links to watch, and then the start times where available. Some other options today include Outlaw Karts at Millbridge and IMCA action at 141 Speedway, where we just last week saw Travis Aaron's Shock High Limit. We'll call it good right there for today. Don't forget, if you want even more dirt racing content, make sure to follow Dirt Tracker across social media. That means Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and more. Wherever you are, so is Dirt Tracker. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.